all
So
this
it's
is
really
making
the three of you. You guys are going to make this decision when the opportunity arises to exit, right?
Yes,
So
right.
yeah,
And we weren't planning on an exit. We weren't really planning on it.
okay.
Uh,
How did it
and
come
we
about?
had so how it came about is we were doing a partnership with a company that did basically what we did, but on the web.
Yep.
So we had this partnership going with them to like share ads and stuff, and they decided they wanted to do what they were doing on mobile. So they said we want to buy you, and we're like, oh, that's interesting.
So
And
they want to take their business to mobile from web to
yeah,
mobile. Is that the idea?
yes,
And they were a
yeah,
big kind of customer or third party vendor to
they
you already?
they were doing exactly what we were doing, but they were on the web.
Okay. I mean, because I know the story of
Yeah,
OfferPal, right? And I feel
yep,
like
that's OfferPal.
a lot of kids were signing up for Netflix to get like points or something like that through
Exactly.
their network. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. They were huge on so back then Facebook games were the thing.
Yep.
And so they basically were the ad network for Facebook games. And so you could sign up for Netflix or whatever, and you'd get some extra stuff for your Zynga farm in Farmville.
Right. Right. Yep.
So and they were doing really well. They were making a lot of money.
Yep.
And like, hey, we see mobile as the next big thing. We want to buy you guys and like take this partnership and really make it go on mobile.
So how did that start? Was it the CEO that calls you guys and makes
Yeah.
this offer? Was it really important that you had some kind of partnership beforehand that got them to a comfort level, or they just saw you growing out of the weeds, getting big, and going, these guys are the mobile leaders.
No,
We need
the
to own them.
partnership the
Yeah.
partnership was
Yep.
like huge. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
So they approach you, right? And
Yep.
what's that like?
So they approached and they said, we want to, make an offer to buy you. And I don't remember the specifics. It's been so long. It's
Yeah.
been almost 15 years, but I don't remember exactly if they gave us numbers at the time or not.
Mm-hmm.
But they said they wanted to buy us. And at the time we were thinking, oh, maybe we should be raising a round from
Mm-hmm.
investors.
Mm-hmm.
And so we approached Kleiner Perkins and they said that they would be willing to lead a round. Um, and it was and so now we had these two options. Like we were like Kleiner could lead a round. I think it was a Series A, or we could take this acquisition.
Yep.
And so there was just a ton of back and forth at this point.
Yep.
It took months of back and forth between Lee, myself, um, to make the right decision. And I'll be honest, in the end, we made the wrong decision. The crazy part is we like spent so long on this call,
Yeah.
and we made the absolute wrong one.
Okay. So
And yeah,
hindsight 2020, right?
hindsight, yeah,
I remember these moments, right? Because you were calling
yeah,
me and saying we could take money, we could take the exit. What should we do? And maybe you should never ask for my advice again. But I was about, Ben, change your life because we are serial
yep,
entrepreneurs. You're going to do this again and again and again. Like, get your family straight, no debt, coming out. Like,
right.
change your life. And
Yeah,
that was my pitch to you, right? And I think you
no,
had some competing opinions.
right, we had competing opinions, and the fact is, like, ultimately, the decision to sell
Yep.
ultimately was the right call. For sure, my life is way better off having sold the business. Had I waited 3 months, we
Yeah.
would have made more money.
A little more the
Six
timing.
months, yeah, for sure. Like, and the thing is, you never know the timing, and like the story continues for sure.
Yeah.
It turns out, like, the story of Tapjoy, because what happened is, OfferPal bought us.
Yeah.
We ended up surpassing them, and they took our name. So Tapjoy, and it became an entirely mobile business. So it was just our business.
Yeah.
It recently sold for $400 million, but I know they
I
were
saw
worth a
that.
lot more. They were worth a lot more
Yeah.
10 years ago. So basically, like, went up, and then of course, and especially when you look at the value of individual shares,
Yep.
dropped a lot over the time after that, because
Yep.
like the whole ecosystem changed. There's competition. There are a lot of rules about what
Sure.
you can and cannot do in far as ads go. So the fact is, like, you never know the right time to sell. The reason we made the decision to sell and why it wasn't so bad in the end
Yeah.
is personally for Lee and myself, uh, in that exit, we made a lot of money
Yep.
and more money. Like the theory was, this is very like MBA speak, but the utility to us of more money goes down dramatically once you have a certain amount.
Yes.
And so that was Todd's advice, and it's correct. And the fact is, like, if you're talking about the difference between having, say, $3 million or $5 million or $10 million or even $1 billion, honestly, it's not that different. It
Okay.
really isn't much different as far as like your overall level of happiness. We did all the research on what drives happiness and stress and
Yeah.
everything else in life. And the fact is, it was enough money for us personally that we would be in fantastic shape.
I think that's really important because I was going to
Yeah.
ask you, not specifically asking about the number, but how did you come to a number that made it, that's enough for me to feel really comfortable to kind of solidify a future, allow me to continue to do what I love to do, be an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. So you kind of answered that.